Or why do you like to use science fiction? Also, would be the
Yeah. I'm thinking about, okay, so I mean, obviously, as I said before, science fiction was a way for me to recognize a discontent with my high schooling. And so I found a voice in relation to things that had been concerning me. And I was successful at high school. I was being managed and produced by the high school, not to be an early childhood teacher, that's for sure. Like, I don't think that would have been their vision for me. And they would have had one. And yeah, so I remember talking to my dean at the time, after, hey, I remember talking to my dean at the time, like when I realized that school wasn't for me and suggesting I might leave school, and the dean saying, yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think you should go. So the first thing is that science fiction got me out of education and into education in an institutional space and into an idea of teaching and learning, through organic connections around interest and passions. So that that was the first step. Movies like Blade Runner just compelled me to watch them again and again and again, and then read Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep again and again and again, and get different things out of them, and get angry with them, and realize that you've missed things in them. Like, especially with Do Androids Dream, there's some things that each time I read it, I go, how did I not notice this the first time? And then to understand, like, the questions that are key for those writers, well, that writer, Philip K. Dick, but also that then transfer into, a film that's just an awesome film for asking and inviting questions. I mean, when Blade Runner came out, it did not get a good reception, but it's become, obviously quite a different thing. But I'll watch any piece of science fiction and get something out of it. Like, I mean, I don't really call, although maybe it's not my position to call anything science fiction or not, I don't really call Star Wars science fiction. It's kind of fantasy. It's it doesn't on the surface represent strong science fiction questions and narratives, but R2-D2 and C-3PO, right, to me, like, engaging carefully in an analysis of their conversations in movies that otherwise are healthily disrespected, like, the first three, which are obviously, everyone finds it difficult to deal with Anakin's growth, and and find some of the characters problematic. But when R2-D2 and C-3PO are talking about what it means to be human and what it means to be machine, like, because they're so subtle, you go back to them again and again and go, why are they having this conversation about and very contradictory statements that C-3PO makes to R2-D2 about decision making and humanity and artificial intelligence. So I'm always looking for that. So I'll go prospecting for that gold in any rubbish that I can find. That I find it's a terrible movie. Like, I'm not really enjoying it, but I'll watch it again and again just to see things. And then if I think about specifically early childhood science fiction, like when I was writing my PhD, I started to realize that one way in which I'm going to have to engage with children in their digital worlds is to look at the projection of those digital worlds through new media, through television in particular, and through film. So I was quite lucky at the time that Digimon was being released. So I got to watch a lot of Digimon. And the good thing about Digimon is it did really put to children questions concerning the real and the artificial, and the relationship that children have, in ways that would suggest that whoever the writers were, they had an understanding of Sherry Turkle's work, for instance, from MIT, like just in terms of care for the artificial world, care for material, and care for machines. And the changing nature of humanity, and the more than human in relation, that's really super in Digimon. And then you get the benefit of also seeing that Digimon steps out of itself and says, okay, here's a child that plays the game, plays the card game, and then creates their own card, and then ends up in the storyline, which really kind of plays on blurring those boundaries. So Digimon was great. I was also at the same time watching Dragon Ball Z, which is not about the digital world, but I particularly also enjoyed because of its capacity to slow time down, like to watch one fight scene that would take 7 episodes and be just like, powering up, anyway. People did question whether or not I was spending my doctoral research productively by watching these shows, and that comes back to that question, or that observation you had, Amy, about being productively playful in your work. Like I can't undermine observations or concerns around like the privilege of playfulness. So when people are like questioning how it is that you can have fun when you do things, when what we do is serious, but also for me it's vital to do that, and it's vital to share and encourage that, and to suggest that we can look, there's no formula for being fun and playful in your philosophical work, but there shouldn't be a burden to do that either. Otherwise, it then becomes just another criterion to tick off in a peer review. Did I have fun reading this article, or did they engage with fun correctly in order to get published? And that's not what I want. But certainly, like, I think we need to allow for the possibility that humor and playfulness and fun have an important role to play.